everyone. Good evening. How are you? Enjoying your vacation? Am I audible? Like my voice is reaching to you? Good, good. Okay, means my voice is reaching to everyone. Okay. So anyway, like in the last class, we have talked something, like we have discussed something. So discussed about what? Hi. Good evening, good evening. Good evening. So anyway, like in the last class, we have talked little bit about what? That is the basic unit of life, cell, the basic unit of life. Why? Because it is present everywhere. So by the repetition of this, we can get what? Like different type of complex structure. So that's why we are saying cell, the unit of life. After that we have started like structural and functional unit of life. Thereafter, I have said something about the one is unicellular, another one is multicellular, and both are having its own pros and cons. Or in other way, we can say both are having the advantage as well as disadvantage. That is being unicellular, advantage is also there, disadvantage is also there. Same as it is being multicellular, disadvantage as well as advantage both will be there. Okay. Now after that we have started something about cell. In this cells like prokaryotic cells, eukaryotic cells was also there. And what is the basic criteria so that we can say something is living cells or we can say something is live entity? So the first one was like it should have the membrane, or we can say it should have the boundary. After that genetic material should be there. Like in our body, DNA is a genetic material. DNA is a genetic material. After that, if you are having the genetic material, it should replicate. You are having some kind of methods to replicate so that you can distribute among the two daughter cells. Okay. After replication, metabolism is also there. So if anyone is fulfilling this criteria, I can call it as a living entity. After that, we have also started with some other part, like one is eukaryotic cells, prokaryotic cells. Like Nagaraju, obviously cell arise from pre-existing cells. Today itself we will start. So our next topic, or we can say today's topic, is the cell theory. Obviously, many scientists was there, like Robert. We have started with Robert Hooke. Thereafter, Anton van Leeuwenhoek was also there. Thereafter, Anton van Leeuwenhoek, who comes? So after the Anton van Leeuwenhoek, we have seen many other structures like Robert Brown. He has said something about what? That is a nucleus. So not this scientist, many other scientists whose contribution is not mentioned in the book, but it's still there. So all scientists get together and they have published some book. Okay, or we can say all the knowledge, or we can say all the information related to the cells will be compiled in a single thing that is known as cell theory. So our next topic, or we can say today's topic, and most of the question, if it is coming in the NEET exam, so it comes from here, like who has given, or we can say who proposed this cell theory. Okay, so good evening. So firstly, we'll go to the next structure, that is, or we can say next topic is nothing but the cell theory. Okay, so what does it mean by theory? So theory means we can say it's experimental data. We are producing experimental data. So earlier it was the view. Like my views can be different, your views can be different. Okay, because once it is a view, I can say it's a hypothesis. I can say it's a hypothesis, but once this hypothesis is proven, or we can say experimentally proven, and then I can call it as a what? That is a theory. So it's nothing but a cell theory. So the first and the most important question in the NEET, what they are asking is, who proposed this? Who proposed this cell theory? Obviously, mainly two scientists comes, like initially two scientists comes, but after that, one more scientist was there who has rectified, or we can say who has changed, or we can say who has modified the initial, or we can say original cell theory. Okay, so in this case, two scientists was there. So first one is, I can call it as a, so this is one, and another one is, so these are the two scientists. Okay, so obviously each one belongs to the different background. So if you are talking about like 2 to 3 times in the NEET exam, they have said like who belongs to the German, or we can say who is German. So in this case, we can say both are nothing but the German. So if you are talking about the, because in NEET sometime they can ask it's a native place, German. Okay, and anyway, like Germany is like far ahead in this kind of scientific type of techniques, or we can say in technology, Germany is far ahead of us, or we can say any other country. So both are nothing but German, and at the same time, no doubt it's a German, but it's a German botanist. German botanist who is willing to study, or we can say who is studying what? Related to the plants. Related to the plants. Next one is another one who is nothing but the, okay. So this is the, we can say initial. So this type of question they can ask. Now we will see what is the contribution. What is the contribution of this Sladen, and other one is Swan. In this case, if I am talking about the botanist, means obviously what he will study. Or we can say, let's say you are a botanist, what you will study. Obviously, simple answer is you will study related to the plants. You will study related to the plants. If it is zoology, then we can say it's animals. So the first thing is they have started studying of what? Studies the plants, study the plants and its a part. Plant and it's a part. Like plant is having a lot more part. Like we can say it's a root, stem, leaf, flowers, fruits, and many other structures are there. And why they have said that? They also studied what? It's a parts. Because if you are talking about the bits of parts, so the parts like root is having different type of cells. Same as it is having different type of adaptations. Like root will absorb the water and minerals. So obviously their morphology is different, their function is different, their adaptation will be different. Okay. After that, if you are talking about the stem, so stem is having different modifications. So different modifications, different functions, means we can say the structure of the cells will be different. Okay. So these are the few things. So that's why it studies the plants and its part. After that, so Swan also has studied a lot more animals. So studied animals, or we can say animal cells. After that he found, like Sladen found that either it's a monocot plant, or we can say it's a dicot plants, or we can say it's a algae, or we can say it's a bryophytes, pteridophytes. So whatever the plants he has studied, he found what? He found a basic structure, and that basic structure I can call, or we can call it as a cells. So he said that, or we can say his finding, his conclusion was each and every parts of plants consist of what? Consist of cells. So it is its conclusion, and the same conclusion we are following. Same conclusion we are following, like either it's a you, me, or another living cells, or we can say living organism on this planet consist of what? Consist of cells. So we can say cell is nothing but the basic unit of life. Okay. Now, if you are moving to the next, that is the zoologist. Obviously, he will study related to what? Related to animals. So if you are talking about the animals, he found something different. So what's the different? He said that whenever I was studying the structure of the animal cell, so I find some kind of flexibility, or we can say they can change its shape. And its boundary is there, but that boundary is highly flexible. It's a thin boundary is there. So he said that outermost boundary of animal cell is what? Is thin and flexible. That he called them as a plasma membrane. It's nothing but these days we are calling it as a plasma membrane. But it's not like these days we are calling it as a plasma membrane. They were also having some idea related to the plasma membrane. But due to the lack of microscope, or we can say complex microscope, they don't have much of the structure of the plasma membrane. Okay. So these are the few things. After that, we are moving to the next. What else? He found something else. And if you are comparing these two, like Sled and Swan, he is kind of intelligent as well as wise. Okay, so why I'm saying, like, both belongs to the same country, like both are German, and they are kind of colleague to each other, or we can say they are working in almost same laboratory. Same lab they are working. So one day Swan went to Sladen. He asked, like, what you are doing. So he said that I am working on plants. So just tell me, like, what are the things you found in this plant? He said that these are the few structures. And the same idea he just copied here. Same idea he copied here. So in this case, I can also say that is the outer layer, or we can say outer boundary of the plant is nothing but a cell wall. So outermost boundary of plant cell is cell wall, and cell wall is dead or living. Can anyone tell me, like, cell wall is dead or living? So if it is living, just thumbs up. If it is dead, then it's thumbs down. It's a dead. Yes, the correct answer is it's a dead. So in plant cell, only the structure, that is cell wall. So cell wall is a dead structure. Cell wall is a dead structure. Okay, so these are the few things both the scientists has observed during experiments in plants as well as in animals. Okay, after that, like, these are the cell theory. So direct question will come in the NEET exam, like, who has proposed the cell theory? Who has proposed the cell theory? Your answers should be only two scientists, one is Sladen and Swan. But at the same time, like, one more German, like, you can find a lot more German here. So one more German comes and he said that, like, while seeing the development done by the Sladen and Swan, like, the scientist, or we can say that another German was jealous. Like, how these scientists are working, why I am not working. So he started finding out some kind of, we can say, drawback. So he found one drawback, like these scientists didn't tell anything about what, like how the cell arise. How the cell arise, because it's not a magic like a cell is coming from some other planet. So cells should be there, like earlier the existence of cell will be there, then only the new cells will be arrive. Okay, so what is the drawback? What is the drawback of this? So drawback of this is they are not able to explain how the cell arise. How the cell arise. That is a drawback. And this drawback was corrected by another scientist. So the name of the scientist was Rudolf Virchow. So this is another name of the scientist. Okay, so he also belongs to which country? So he also comes from what? It's a German. Again, so here we can say that till now we have studied about three scientists. One is Sleden, other is Swan, other is Rudolf. So all belongs to the same country, that is German. Okay. So now if we are moving to this, so what he has corrected, he said that all cell arise from what? Arise from pre-existing cells. So if it arises from pre-existing cells, means can we say that he was directly, indirectly telling about what? Telling about the cell divides, or we can say it's a cell division. Okay. So here we can say, so each cell comes from where? Each cell comes from pre-existing cells. Means earlier there were some cells was there, and that cell divided to give what? To give two cells, or we can say two daughter cells. So Akshay, this is second class. So each cell comes from what? Each cell comes from pre-existing cells, and actually this is English translation. Okay, so actually the Rudolf has said something else. So according to Rudolf, one term was given, omnis cellular e cellular. So actually this term has been derived from what? Latin. So it derived from Latin. So this means what? This means each cell comes from pre-existing cells. Means indirectly can we say it's nothing but talking little bit about what? Talking little bit about cell division. Okay. So after that, what happened? All three scientists, one is Sleden, other one is Swan, and the third one is what? Rudolf. All comes together, and he gave, or we can say they gave, the modern cell theory, or we can say it's a modified form of cell theory. And now this cell theory was properly acceptable, or we can say it's a kind of universally acceptable, because more or less all the organism is following this criteria. But some are there, some exceptions are there, because if you are talking about the science, either it's the physics, chemistry and biology. So obviously there will be exceptional part, or we can say something which is not following the general rules, general criteria. So that's why we can keep it into what? We can keep it into what? That is the exceptions. So after that, what is the conclusion of cell theory? So the modified cell theory, if you are talking, so according to them, either it's a plants or animals or any other organism on this planet consists of what? Consists of basic fundamental unit, and that unit is nothing but the cell. Okay. So here we can say the first one is each and every organism, either it's what? Unicellular or multicellular. So each and every organism composed of cells or its products. Cells or it's a product. Because if you are talking about the cell, so group of cells, can we call it as a tissues? Group of cells, if you are talking about the group of cells, then we can say it's a tissues. After that, organ system, individual. So indirectly I can say that cell, as well as it's a combination of the cells. Combination of the cells will give you some other structure. After that, now we are moving to the next. So what's next? Next, I can say that all cell arise from pre-existing cell. Means some ancestors should be there, then only the next generation, or we can say future generation, will come. Okay. So they are simply talking about what? Talking about the cell division. So all cell arise from where? Arise from pre-existing cells. All cell arise from pre-existing cells. Pre-existing cells. Okay. Now just I'm asking one very simple question. And that question comes from here. Let's say one condition is there. In that condition, here it's a group of organelles are there. Let's say it's a group of organelles. That organelles we have studied in the last class. Like some of the organelle is having two membrane, other organelle is having one membrane, and other one is having membrane-less structure. Okay. So in this case, it's a group of organelles, and when this group of organelles combine together. So can we say that the next stage will be the cell? Next stage will be the cell, and other one is, or we can say the next higher structure. So higher structure is what? Higher structure is nothing but the tissues. Okay. So now I am giving one statement. So that statement is the properties of the tissues, present in the individual cells. Properties of the tissues present in the individual cells. Is it true or false? Or we can say, in other words, I can say the properties of the tissues is present in the constituent cells. Like many times this type of question is there in the NEET exam. So yes or no? Okay. So most of the students are answering yes, but actually it's a no. So from my side it's a no. So why it is no? Because the properties of the tissues comes as a result of what? Comes as a result of interaction among the cells. So that's why I can't say the properties of tissues is present in its constituent cells. No. Why it is no? Because this one cell interact with the second cell. Second cell interact with the third cell. Third cell interact with the fourth cell. Fourth is interacting with the first cells. So obviously after interaction, a combined, or we can say blending, or we can say mixed properties will be there. So this mixed property will be present here. In which case, so mixed properties you can find in the tissues. So can we say that this is nothing but the what type of property? Emergent property. Okay, so emerge means what? It comes out. So how it is coming out? Can we say that it comes out only when one cell is ready to interact with the other cell, or we can say other cell will interact with the other cell? So if there is an interaction among the cells, then only then only what happens? The new property will arise, and obviously the property of this is not equivalent to this. Is not equivalent to this. Okay. So is that clear? So here we can say I can add one line. So what's that line? Obviously it will be helpful to you to understand. Here we can say the properties of tissues arise from what? So arise due to what? Due to the interaction amongst what? Amongst the cells. Okay, so that's why I can't say it's an equivalent one. So is that clear? Everyone? Like, what is emergent? So what is emergent? Means it comes out. Earlier it was not there, but now it's there. Same as it is, can we say that properties of the cells is not present in what? The individual constituents of this. Like, I can't say the property of mitochondria is equivalent to the property of the cells. I can't say. Why? Because a lot more organelles comes together, interact together, and here's a new property will arise. So that new property I can call it as what? So it's an emergent property. So I think everyone clear about what is emergent? Okay. So emergent means what? Something comes out, or we can say something is nothing but the result of the interactions. Okay. So these are the few points. And anyway, like in the cell theory, they are also telling what? They are telling that the new property arises due to the interaction among the individual organelles, or we can say individual cells, or we can say individual tissues. After that, what it forms next? So a lot more this comes together to form what? Same as is organ, thereafter it's organ system, thereafter you can find individual. Okay. So now can we say that the property, like I am individual. Okay. So I am an individual. So my property is not matching. My property is not matching with the individual property of the organ system. Like organ system means it's a respiratory system, circulatory system. So this is not equivalent. Okay. So that's why here also a group of tissues forms what? System. It's an emergent property. Same as a system gives organ. Again it's an emergent property. Again it's an emergent property. Again it's an emergent property. Okay. So is that clear? Naruto lovers. So can you explain again, sir? Which point? Which point? Anyway, like it's all talking about what? Talking about the emergent property. Earlier it was not there. Now it is there. Okay. So after that, now we are moving to the next. So what's the next? Cell theory is done. But out of this cell theory, what are the conclusions we have got? Like who proposed? And who has studied on animals, who has studied on the plants? What is the role play of Rudolf Virchow? What is the role play? So obviously role play is nothing but he has corrected one term. So what's that? In this case, after that, now we are moving to the other part. So what's that part? So our next part is an overview. An overview will talk about what? An overview of the cells. So if I am talking about the overview of the cells, I will just try to go for the one is prokaryotic cells and one is eukaryotic cells. Samsung, so can you please repeat again about emergent property? So Samsung, I don't know the name. Emergent property is like just now the property arises. How it arises? Due to something was there, like previously something was there, and both interact with each other, and now the new property arises. So that's why I can call it as a emergent property. Emergent property. Okay. After that, if you are moving to the next, so here it's a little bit overview of the cells. So if you are talking about the overview of the cells, better to go with the one is prokaryotic cells. I think most of you know about this. Prokaryotic cells. Mike Kenga, sir, please explain cell theory once. So cell theory is nothing but the one theory, like three scientists was there. So what are the three scientists? One is Sladen, other one is Schwann, and other one is Rudolf. So whatever these three scientists observed, so he published in the form of a book, or we can say that is known as theory. So in that theory, what is written? So it's nothing but the observation of these three scientists. So what's that observation? So first observation is like either me or you or plants or animals. So it consists of what? Cells. After that, the next one is, we can say, all cells arise from pre-existing cells. Means it's a cell division. After that, directly, indirectly, one more is they are talking about what? Emergent property. They are talking about the emergent property. Okay. One more is like when DNA or genetic material is not bounded by membrane. Okay. So now we'll move to the next one. That is, one is prokaryotic cells. Other one is what? Eukaryotic cells. Okay. So in this case, sir, is animals having cell wall? Obviously, animals is not having the cell wall. That's why animals is so flexible that it can move from one place to another place. While in the case of plants, it is having the cell wall. And whenever anyone is having the cell wall, it's very difficult to show the movement. Okay. So now we'll move to the next part. Here are few terms I will discuss. So what are the terms? First term, I can say that prokaryotic cells. So pro means what? It's the earlier one, primitive one, old one. Primitive one, or we can say it's an old one. And karyo means it's a nucleus. Means nucleus was there, but the process of formation was very outdated, or we can say it's a very old process was there. Okay. So here we can say prokaryotic cells means it is having the primitive type of nucleus. So why I am saying it's a primitive type of nucleus? Because they don't have any organized membrane. Chromosome was there, but that chromosome is also not in good shape. Okay. So here it's a primitive type of nucleus. In this case, I can say that it's a little bit advanced type of nucleus. So here we can say advanced type of nucleus. And why I am saying this primitive, or we can say old one, and this is the new one. So if you are talking about the old one and new one, because this is lack of membrane. Means nuclear membrane is absent. Nuclear membrane is absent. So here we can say nuclear membrane is what? Tell me. Nuclear membrane is absent. Okay. So if the nuclear membrane is absent, does it mean that it is lack of genetic material? What I said? Nuclear membrane is absent. Does it mean that it is lack of nucleus? No, we can't say. Good. Anjuman and many response I am getting. So obviously no. Nuclear membrane, absence of nuclear membrane doesn't mean that it is lack of genetic material. Genetic material will be there, and that genetic material I can call it is a naked genetic material. So here we can say, in this case, from this same as it is, I can say that what type of genetic material? Naked genetic material, and this where it is present, inside the nucleus or inside the cytoplasm. So obviously we can say inside the cytoplasm. Inside the cytoplasm, because it was not having any kind of nuclear membrane, so that's why there is no separation between the nucleoplasm and cytoplasm. So directly I can say here it's a cytoplasm. Okay. Now if you are moving to the next, it is having well organized nuclear membrane. So if it is having well organized nuclear membrane, means you can find that the genetic material is properly wrapped, properly folded, and then kept into the nucleus. So that's why I can say it's advanced one and that one was primitive one. Or can we say that the whole nucleus formation starts from where? The eukaryotic cells or prokaryotic cells? I think my answer will be the start of nucleus, formation of nucleus starts from the prokaryotic cells. Later on it converts into what? Converts into the eukaryotic cells. So that's why it's a primitive one and that one is advanced one. Okay. So is that clear, everyone? After that, it is also having the genetic material, but obviously this time the genetic material is properly kept inside the nucleus. Okay. So here it's a genetic material present inside the nucleus. Genetic material present inside the nucleus. Okay. So after that, if you are moving to the next, so what would be the next? Okay. So whenever we are talking, like, can you see the bacterial cells with the naked eyes? Can anyone visualize the bacteria with naked eyes? So obviously I expect the answer should be no. And if it is yes, then you are having some kind of magical power or some superpower will be there. So obviously it's a no, my answer is no. And if it is not visible by naked eyes, how it can keep the genetic material inside? So obviously, firstly you have to fold it properly, then only you can keep in the very small place, very chinna place, you can keep the nucleus. Okay. So here we can say, in this case, and what should be the genetic material? And genetic material is, we can say it's a DNA. And here I can say DNA is a genetic material, and the chromosome is not so folded. The chromosome is not so folded, so we can say chromosome is dispersed. Yes, Bhavna, I can say the QR code after the class. So here we can say DNA, and if we are talking about the chromosomes is fully dispersed, or we can say chromosome is dispersed in the cytoplasm. In the cytoplasm. Okay. While in this case we can say the chromosome is compactly arranged. Chromosome is compact inside. Chromosome is compactly packed. Inside what? Inside the nucleus. Inside the nucleus. Okay. So let's say this is the DNA. This is the DNA. Here this is the DNA, and once you fold this DNA, I am just folding this DNA. After folding, can we say that I am getting just condensed form? Condensed form, and actually this condensed form is known as chromosome. So chromosome is nothing but the condensed form of a chromatin material. Condensed form of a chromatin material, and the chromatin is having what? Chromatin is having DNA. DNA plus few proteins will also be there. And what is the uses of protein? So protein will help in what? Protein will help in folding. Protein will help in folding. Okay. So that protein, I can call it as a histone protein. So here, one more thing I can add is histone protein is absent. Histone protein is absent. So firstly, I can say that histone protein is absent. If histone protein is absent, then what is present? Then what is present? So can we say that it is non-histone protein? It is non-histone protein. So here it's I can call it as a non-histone protein. So if histone protein is absent, then we can say it's a non-histone protein. Okay. So after that, now we'll move to the other side. So what's the other side? In this side, I can say that histone protein is present. Histone protein is present. And what is histone protein? So protein which helps in folding the chromatin material and to provide what? Chromosome. So can we say that chromosome is what? Condensed form of a chromatin. And how it is getting condensed? It is only due to what? The histone protein. So the main function of histone protein is to fold it, is to coil it, then it converts into what? Converts into the chromosomes. Okay. So here we can say histone protein is present. Okay. And at the same time, I just add here how it helps. How it helps. So histone protein helps in, so protein helps in what? Helps in folding, coiling, something like that. Okay. So protein helps in folding what? Folding the DNA. Folding the DNA. Okay. So this is nothing but the histone protein. So I think everyone got this point, like what is histone protein and how it helps and why this histone protein is absent here, and if it is absent, what happens? So if it is absent, then we can say the whole chromosome will be dispersed. If the host histone protein is present, all comes together. all comes together. Okay, so that is the main difference between what? That is a histone protein and non-histone protein. Okay, so I hope it's clear up to this point. So here we can say, after that, what else I can add? Now, the most important point, let's say it's this whole classroom, or we can say your bedroom. The whole bedroom is empty. The whole bedroom is empty, or you can consider your bedroom as a cytoplasm. Bedroom as a cytoplasm. So, if your bedroom is totally empty, means there is no bed, there is no chair, nothing else. Nothing is there. So that I can call it as what? Prokaryotic cells. That I can call it as a prokaryotic cells. But in that bedroom, I just divide the bedroom into the small compartments. Small compartment. So that bedroom becomes what? It's a eukaryotic cells. So what is the difference between the prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells? So what is the difference? In the prokaryotic cells, the whole cytoplasm will be, there is no compartment. There is no compartment in the cytoplasm. But once it comes to the eukaryotic cells, I can say that I will give this much of space to the mitochondria, this much space to the endoplasmic reticulum, this much space to the lysosomes. So in the eukaryotic cells, everyone is asking about a separate place, personal space. So that we are giving to what? Eukaryotic cells. So which one is advanced? Prokaryotic cells or eukaryotic cells? Prokaryotic cells or eukaryotic cells? So obviously we can say it's a eukaryotic cells. Why? Because eukaryotic cells, each and every cell organelle is having its personal life. It's a personal life. Like mitochondrial life is not disturbed by what? Ribosomal life is not disturbed by what? Endoplasmic life. But in this case, what happened? There is no personal life because each and everything is there in the cytoplasm itself. Cytoplasm itself. Okay. So here I can add one more point, is compartmentalization is absent. So compartmentalization is absent. So what does it mean? So what does it mean by compartmentalization is absent? Like where this histone protein is formed. This histone protein is formed in the cytoplasm. Or just keep in mind, all the protein will be synthesized in what? Synthesized in the cytoplasm. Most of the protein will be synthesized in the cytoplasm. Okay. So here it's what? Compartmentalization is absent. Now, in this case, I will give some compartment, give some room, give some area. Okay. So in this case, here we can say compartmentalization is present. Compartmentalization is present. Compartmentalization is present. Okay. So these are the few points we can add to this part, right? So after that, here if we are saying it's a compartmentalization is absent, means membrane bound organelles present or absent? I am waiting for the answer. Membrane bound organelles are absent in prokaryotic cells or eukaryotic, it's absent or present in the prokaryotic cells. Membrane bound organelles are present or absent in prokaryotic cells. Your answer should be absent, or we can say there is no such kind of membrane bound organelles present in prokaryotes. So here I can say membrane bound organelles. Membrane bound organelles are absent. You don't find it. You don't find it because it's a primitive. So still they are just taking care of the cytoplasm. Means everything is present inside the cytoplasm. So that's why they are not able to provide separate place for other organelles. Okay. While in this case, this is the advanced one. This is advanced one. So if it is advanced one, we can say membrane bound organelles are present. Is that clear? So here we can say membrane bound organelles. Membrane bound organelles are present. And already I think we have discussed in the last class like a few that is related to the membrane bound organelles, like mitochondria, chloroplast, lysosomes, glycosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, many other we have discussed. But out of that, some are also there like ribosomes. The ribosome, that is membrane-less structure. Same as is centriole. Centriole is also having membrane-less structure. While if you are talking about the chloroplast, two structure, two membrane is there. Mitochondria, again two membrane is there. Okay, so these are the few parts that we have discussed in the last class. So here you can add few points, or we can say few examples if you want, because already we have discussed. I am just adding few for the example purpose. Mitochondria, if it is a plant, then it's a chloroplast. Okay, so if the cell is not happy, or we can say if the cell is very angry, what happens? Its lysosomes becomes activated, and lysosomes will kill all the cells, all the material, digest all the materials. Okay, so here we can say the angry man of the cell is nothing but the lysosomes. Okay, so lysosome is like don't make them angry, otherwise it will blast, it will collapse, it will digest whole part. Okay, so now next one is same as says endoplasmic reticulum you can add. So these are the few parts, but out of that few differences are there. So what's that? If the question will come, ribosomes. Ribosomes is present in prokaryotic cells or eukaryotic cells. Can anyone? Ribosomes are present in prokaryotic cells or eukaryotic cells, or both 1 and 2. Yes, SMA. Yes, I'm getting a lot more response, and it's correct. Like both. Ribosomes is present in prokaryotic cells as well as eukaryotic cells. Means ribosome is present in your body as well as the bacterial body. So here we can say ribosomes are there, but you can find the size of the ribosome is very small. Size of the ribosome is very small, so I can call it as 70S. This S I will tell you like in detail in later classes, because S is nothing but the unit. It's like a centimeter, kilometer, or something like some units I have added. So this unit will tell you how bigger, or we can say how larger it can be. Yes, caustic, good. Schwarzschild unit, yes, that is a Schwarzschild unit. That is nothing but the Schwarzschild unit, or it is nothing but the sedimentation coefficient, like how frequently, how fastly it settled down. Okay, so that's why in this case you can find that in that ribosomes are present, no doubt. Ribosomes are present, but it is little bit bigger, little bit larger as compared to the first one. So here I can say that is ADS. But no doubt, if you are talking about the 70s, so 70 is, which one is more larger, 70 or 80? So obviously it's AD, right? So ADS is little bit looking larger as compared to 70s. Okay, so it's a size difference. So S will tell you the size. Or we can say this is nothing but Schwarzschild unit, that will come later, don't worry. So after that, but at the same time you can find here in few organelles, like if you are talking about the chloroplast, and other one is mitochondria. So chloroplast and mitochondria is having what? Mitochondria is having 70s type of ribosome. 70s type of ribosomes. And ribosome, do they have cell organelle? Membrane? So obviously my answer is no, membrane is absent. So ribosome is membrane-less, and ribosome is the only structure, only organelle that is common to both. Other one is, here few more points I can add. So what's that? Inclusion body, that we will discuss in the prokaryotes itself. Inclusion body is present. And what's that inclusion body? Inclusion body means some chemical substance that is present in the cytoplasm itself. That we can call it as an inclusion body. So here we can say chemical, or we can say reserve chemical substance, where it is present in the cytoplasm. So that I can call it as what? It's an inclusion body. So inclusion body is present in what? Prokaryotes or eukaryotes? So I think your first answer should be it's a prokaryote, not eukaryote. Yes, caustic phosphate granules, sinophysin granules, glycogen granules, yeah, that is correct. That will be discussed in what? Whenever we are discussing what? Whenever we are discussing the prokaryotes, there I will talk. Inclusion body. So inclusion body means any chemical substance that is present in the cytoplasm. I can call it as a inclusion body. Okay. So next one is why mitochondria? Because see, mitochondria and chloroplast. Mitochondria and chloroplast is a kind of what? Kind of autonomous structure, complex structure. So that's why this mitochondria and chloroplast cannot depend on the nucleus for each and every activities. So that's why it is also having what? The ribosomes. So it's inclusion body. So inclusion body is absent there. Inclusion body is absent. Inclusion body is absent. Okay, after that, one place is nothing but so that is known as vacuoles. So which one is having true vacuole? Which one is having true vacuoles? The prokaryotic cells or eukaryotic cells? So obviously eukaryotic cell is having the true vacuoles, So here we can say false vacuole, or we can say membrane-less vacuole is present. Membrane-less vacuole, and this membrane-less vacuole I can call it as what? I can call it as a gas vacuole. While on another side, I can say that it is having the vacuole, but vacuole is having the membrane. So here we can say that membrane bound vacuoles, or we can say true vacuoles. So it's nothing but a membrane bound vacuole will be there. Okay. So these are the few things that we have discussed regarding what? That is the prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. After that, if you are talking about the DNA, little bit of difference in DNA. So here we can say it's a double stranded, but it is circular. Double stranded, but this is circular. So double stranded circular DNA, is present, while on another side we can say it's a double stranded, but it is linear. Linear DNA. So double stranded linear DNA is present. And one student was asking one question, like what is the difference between DNA and RNA? So slight differences between the DNA and RNA, that is nothing but the carbohydrate, or we can say sugar. The difference in the sugar, one is having deoxyribose and other one is having what? Ribose sugar. So that is the only difference between the DNA and RNA. Okay. So these are the few things that we have discussed in this class. So now come to the comment, like any questions? Everyone, like one student is talking about World Cup match, cricket match. Tarun, one question, double stranded means what? Like, let's say this is one strand. And we need another strand. And these two strands coiled upon each other. So this is nothing but a double strand. Okay. So how many chromosomes are there in prokaryotic cells, sir? In prokaryotic cells, we are considering only one cell, only one chromosome. And that too, it's a false chromosome. What is difference between chlorophyll and chloroplast? Chlorophyll is a pigment. Chloroplast is organelle. So where is RNA present? So RNA is present. One is in, we can say, if you are talking about the eukaryotic cells, RNA is present in what? So one is, we can say, that is the nucleus, as well as cytoplasm will be there. But in this case, only in nucleus. Only in cytoplasm. That is the main differences between the prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. So anyway, like, bye-bye everyone. So today's class is little bit about cell theory and how different scientists comes together and gives what? Gives their own views After that, the importance of Rudolf Virchow, he said that some demerits was there. Some demerits was there in the what? In the cell theory given by the two scientists. Later on, it was rectified, or we can say it has been corrected. So bye bye everyone. Good night.